We are starting our very first Substack Live over here, moving from our previous show over here to Substack, and I'm so excited. Welcome, Amy and Terry, Rose, Jane, Alex, Michelle. So happy that you're joining us this morning and or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. And I'm just ecstatic that we are having our debut experience together here on Substack. I've been writing articles here for the last couple of months, but knowing that we are now moving our entire show over here, all of our download work, all of our thought leader work is coming over here on Substack. So woohoo, and so thrilled that you're here and excited about what we are going to do today. So I'm going to get right into it because what we're going to do is not just a, chit chat. We're going to actually be doing some experiential work together and a live demo. And so I want to make sure that we are using our time like as powerfully as we can, and that you get something breakthrough out of our experience today. So if it's your very first time here on Substack in general, I'm thrilled that you're exploring the platform. Those of you that are OGs, thrilled that you're here and with us, because this is where we're going to be doing our new download podcast and these trainings. So I'm just absolutely thrilled. Now, we are going to focus today on monetization, monetizing our thought leadership, funding our greatest dreams and goals and visions. And this is really important because I don't know how it is for any of you, but I know for myself that when I have a new desire, a new goal, or I find out more about what achieving a goal I have is actually going to entail, much of the time, if not all of the time, there are financial investments involved. So if that's true for you, share that in the chat, that you know that when you have that calling to start a business, write a book, become a speaker, do something in your community, create some kind of initiative, that there are requirements, financial obligations, requirements, involvements that we often need. And so that used to really stop me. It used to first bum me out because I thought, oh, well, I can't because I don't have the money. Has anyone ever said that? Like, you have a dream, you get really excited about it, you find out what's involved, and you say, oh, I can't because I don't have the money. Right. And so we want to break down that barrier. We want to break down that wall that feels like this impenetrable wall sometime. And we want to just get the demo crew in here today and sort of blow that up so that we can fund the dreams that we have. Because as you're going to see today in the demo, and the way that I approach it, Amy Fortney's here with me. She's director of our operations and our chief book strategist at Sara Connell Coaching. And we use what I'm going to show you today over and over and over and over in this business, in our individual lives, to find solutions where there look like there are no solutions. Okay. So we're going to be using some brain science techniques. We're going to be using some straight up business strategy, and we're going to put those together. We're very SWOO here. So strategy plus woo. We deal with the strategy, taking action, and we deal with the energy and the mindset that's going to be required to be the person who figures out and co-creates with the universe the funds for our dreams. Okay. So this is what's really important, and that we don't stop ourselves because of finances. And it's very easy. It's one of the most, besides health, it's the thing that will stop us the most. We just think, that's it. Again, big wall. But you are now someone who can scale walls. You can knock them down. You can walk around them. You can dynamite your way through. You are no longer going to be stopped by this perceived barrier. Okay. So do I have an amen on that and a yes? All right. So how are we going to approach this today? I'm going to see if I'm just going to see. I was going to bring up, to kick us off and get us inspired, Orit, we were going to talk about YouTube strategies, but I don't see Orit yet. Orit, if you're here, tell me, and then we'll get you get you up here. But if not, it's okay, because what we're going to do, we'll have Orit on another time, and what we're going to do is super important for today. So here's how we're going to move forward. I want everyone to have something to write with, something to write on. If you prefer to do notes file and talk this through, I do think that physically writing can be powerful in this exercise that I'm going to model for you today instead of typing. But it's completely fine, whatever, if you rather, type it or talk it, that's fine. All right. Now, I want to share a little bit of background as to the process that we're gonna share with you today. And it has like an evolution behind it because I went to a coaching event way back years and years ago. And I got so excited because one of the things that this coach that was hosting this conference said that she said, I know that there's always a way to find the money for anything. And I am going to teach you how to, find the money for, again, investing in her program or whatever it was. And I got so excited. And the whole conference, I was waiting for this moment when she was going to teach this technique because I always felt like I didn't have the money for anything I wanted to do. And it was a real source of frustration and pain and powerlessness for me. And so it got to the moment and she said, okay, here you go. And she handed us all a blank piece of paper and it had 50 lines, just like a, lined notebook like this. And she said, okay, so just figure out 50 ways to do it. And that was the whole exercise. That was the end of the training. That was the entirety of this thing. And while I loved that she was at a place where she was able to figure out the finances for anything, I didn't feel like that gave me enough of anything to go on to make a difference for me. I just was faced with a blank piece of paper and my own limiting thoughts and my own past experience of not having the funds that I wanted when I wanted them. And so I left feeling sort of bummed out because I didn't have a tool. However, it got me thinking. And a different mentor of mine used to always say that the money we need or desire for any dream or any vision is always available to us in the form of an idea or multiple ideas. She was pulling in the energetic, the mindset principle of the law of abundance in the universe, that all that we need is always here for us at any given time. And it's about us tuning in. I call those getting downloads. And to download those ideas, we need to both put ourselves in state, in a mindset to be able to download them. And then we need to have some white space in order, and a process. For me, it's actually having a step by step, not a blank piece of paper with 50 lines. So I'm not giving you a blank piece of paper with 50 lines. I'm going to show you how I approach finding the money for the things that are involved in me achieving a dream or a goal. And already that mindset, and Alex, thank you for posting that here in the chat, is the mindset that the money already exists in the form of an idea we have not yet actioned. It's here, it's available to you, you're worthy, you're capable, the universe wants it for you. That is already a new paradigm, because I was raised in the language of lack, the language of abundance, the language of a poverty mentality, a money negative household. That's just my upbringing. Yours is different. It's whatever it was. But when we have past business traumas, we have maybe upbringing that had certain messages around me, this can feel like a ridiculous idea. And yet I will tell you, I've been practicing this now for almost 20 years. And it is true. If we put ourselves in the right state and then we use the right strategy, we will always find the money. And so I really want to encourage all of us that are here, those of you watching this in the replay, to please join me in experimenting with this. You don't have to believe it's true. I'm just going to offer you a method and a strategy today that you can use to experiment with it so that you can actually see a breakthrough in your life. Okay. So put experiment, those of you that are here live with us, if you could put experiment in the chat, that you get it. It's like you're just going to test this in the field of your own life. And it doesn't matter what happened up until now, because the past is not precedent. Okay, that's mindset number 2. Mindset number 1 is the money already exists in the form of an idea we have not yet actioned, and we can download it. Number 2 is that we are already worthy, pre-approved, capable, supported. The nucleus of your dream comes with the power to attract unto itself everything it needs for its fulfillment. Okay. So coming to it with that, there is enough, there is a way, it's here for me. right? And then the idea that we are going to be able to download that from our creative thinking, download that from source, whatever your worldview is. Okay. Now, I told you the way that I learned this was someone handed me a blank piece of paper with 50 lines and I found it super unhelpful. So, what do I do instead? All right. So, the first thing I do is clearly define specifically the amount of money that I am desiring to download. Okay. This is really important because a lot of times we say, I want more, I want a lot, or maybe we have this like way out there, I want to have $10 million. Dollars. It's like the equivalent of I'm going to lose 50 pounds in a weekend. That's not healthy. It's not usually possible in any kind of a safe way, right? So that's not the difference. I mean, that's not the way we want to approach this. So I want everyone to play with something real. We're going to be doing a whole series. If you all like today, you're going to let us know. And then we will continue this process over the next month as we do this abundance accelerator together. Okay. We will continue this if you feel like you're getting something and want to go deeper. Amy will come up with me. We'll model like more different ways we're using this. But for now, what I want everyone to do is have something real. Okay. And the very real thing for me, and it is very uncomfortable for me to offer this live today and be specific externally. I want to kind of be specific over here and then nobody knows. I'm doing it because I want to show you how everything used to stop me and now I I don't let the idea of lack or limitation stop me. I come from that mindset that the money is already here in the form of an idea or opportunity that I get to action, that I am capable, that I am worthy if there is a way, right? And that I'm going to be able to download those ideas, okay? That they do exist and that there is a way to do this. All right. So I didn't want to say specifically, I just wanted to come on, oh, do you need to want to manifest some more money? No, I got clear that what I want to do for my upcoming book launch in October, and the pre-sales start now for the book. When you're doing a big book launch, you start pre-sales months in advance, which for us is now. I realized that truly what I actually really want is $100,000 to put towards this book launch. My publishers, working on the book. I wrote the book. We've finished the revisions. I did not want to do a regular book launch where I'd go to, different bookstores and read from the book. I love that. I've written this is my seventh book. I love bookstores. I will be going to bookstores on this tour, but I wanted to create an experience of the book. And that requires different kind of venues. It requires I want to have neuro lounges where people are going to like get downloads in real time because we're going to come together, do the method in the book, and then have access to different vibrational, acoustic technologies that help us tune in to that alpha, theta, gamma state in our brains to help us have more wellness, help us get more downloads. I wanted people to they're going to like you're going to walk into the book and actually live the book at the experience of these download days that we're going to have with the neuro lounges. Now, that is not as easy logistically and financially as partnering with a bookstore, coming in with my book and reading for 10 minutes and signing some books, right? That's venues, that's vendors, that's shipping, that's all different things. There's marketing that I want to do. There is outreach and partnerships that I want to do. There is travel because we're going to go on an in-person book tour in 5 to 10 cities for this book. So it's very uncomfortable for me to say this here. I don't want to. I really don't. I don't. I just want to do this. I want Amy and I to go off in our little room and I want to work on this. But I have a fire in me because you have an amount that is what it is. I don't know if it's $5 or $50 or $50,000 or $5 million. I don't know what it is that your dream is asking for support on, but there's something. And I want you to see how I'm doing this in real time. I may hit it in my time frame that I've put out in my vision or not. I don't know. All right. So I'm going to have full transparency and just say that's what I realized in the ideal scenario. I have, $100,000 that we can use the publisher, and I are going to be able to use to create true experiences, to create true transformation, Yeah, it just froze for a second there. I'm still learning, Ruth. I'm still learning. I think I have to move my cursor here a little bit more. So hopefully I'm back. Let me know if we're back and you guys can see me and hear me again. But the idea is that we are just let me know actually before I continue. I want to make sure that okay, good. Whew. Give me a give me a cortisol spike there. Okay, I'll try to keep moving my keyboard and my cursor here so we can keep the screen active. All right. So now, first thing you do is you're going to set an amount of money. I want to hear it for those of you in the live audience here. I want to hear in the chat what is an amount of money, specifically a dollar amount of money that you would love to invest in your next goal. Okay. It doesn't work if we say more. It doesn't work if we say some. It doesn't work if we like, what is the number? Okay. So Cheryl, 100 to 200K a month and investing daily. Oh, good. No one else got a frozen screen. Okay, good. Right. Amy is ready to invest 50K in her next goal. Okay. So I want it. If we don't have something specific, this doesn't work as well. I've been teaching this for 20 years. It doesn't work as well. Okay. We've got 10K, 50K. Okay. And then it seems to work better when we say what it's for. There's a saying, give the money a purpose. Okay. So Alex just did this for us. She's raised 14,000 to complete illustrations and then for her children's book. And then she's going to raise this 20K to get it published. Okay. Alicia, 50K. All right. Okay, great. So 36K, Kristen, 50 Jane. Okay, awesome. Thank you all for participating with us, right? We give the money a purpose because that works on our subconscious mind. Okay. Our subconscious mind can get into all kinds of shenanigans about, oh, this amount of money. And is this like, am I worthy or is this being greedy? And, that may or may not be true for you. But if it is, we want a specific amount and we want to give it a purpose. For me, I know that that is going to go toward the marketing we want to do for the book and the book tour events with the neuro lounges. Okay, that's the amount. And my mind is like, I wish it was 1,000 because I could figure out 1,000. No, it's a freaking $100,000. And yet that is what the vision that my publisher and I have talked about, that I have in my soul for this. Okay, so great. More of you are putting these in. Okay, beautiful. Some of you also are going to be doing, book tours and everything this fall. So great. All right. Now, the next step is to setting some kind of time period, because also what can happen this is neuro linguistic programming. This is brain science based. If we don't say 50,000 in the next X amount of time, then what happens is sometimes our mind is very comfortable just being like, someday, in 10 years, in a year. Now, if your goal is a 10-year goal, then fantastic. But if you want to have it in a certain amount of time, like for me, the book is launching this fall. And actually, the marketing gets to start later this month. Right? So this isn't a someday in 2 years. This is in the next, like this quarter by the end of June. Okay? So just think about what the timing is. And this has again been studied many times over, research that when we are specific with the number, we give it a purpose and we have a time frame that we desire it in that is real. It creates the magnet. Okay. Right now we're creating the magnet. All right. So think about a time frame. And if you want to share that, you can. All right. So once we have these coordinates, we're ready to use the strategy. All right. And the strategy I'm going to teach you is what I've evolved out of that original 50 ways experience that I had where someone handed me a blank piece of paper. Right. Instead of doing that, I'm going to walk you through how I play this game, and I do call it a game, the 50 Ways game. It's part of our Abundance Accelerator that we do in our in here in Sara Connell Coaching and in our Thought Leader programs. We are going to play this as a game because we know if you've chosen to just try on the mindset that all the money you want, whatever you just wrote down, is here. in the form of an idea or ideas that you get to action, then we get to open up our channel to download the ways that will come. Okay, so now you can get out a blank piece of paper. Okay, if you're handwriting this, right? I'm really in love with these. Who makes these pens right now? Pilot. This is like a Pilot V7. I just love these pens right now. So I'm using that. Okay. And you're going to write. If you're typing this or AIing it, great. But there is something to be said for moving your hand. I'll get into the brain science of that on a different episode. All right. So if you can write it, I recommend starting there, and then you can speak it into AI and have it categorized for you after. Okay. So you're going to write your goal at the top of the page. So I'm writing down 100K. I am writing down for the book launch, my kind of marketing and tour. Okay. You're going to do the same for your number, the purpose of your money, and then the time. And I'm going to say by June 2026. Okay. So you've got that down now. And put did it if you've gotten those coordinates written or typed at the top of a page. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, instead of just saying, oh, I've got to come up with 50 ways, we know that it's already here in the form of an opportunity or idea that you're going to action. Instead of just, doing that, just with all this pressure, I am going to give you prompts. Okay. I'm going to give you prompts. And the way that I play this game is that we're going to have a period of, I don't know, we're going to take at least 10 minutes, and I'm going to throw out some prompts during the 10 minutes, and you're going to see any ideas that come to you in these prompts. You can also, the way that I'm going to play it, just because I haven't before, is on these little note cards. Okay. I heard a wonderful masterclass with a director. He's a very famous director, Oscar winning director. And he was saying he does his version of creative ideation on note cards. It doesn't matter if you do note cards, a notebook, a screen, whatever it is, right? The point is we're going to have some energy moving so that we can generate ideas. Now, the way this works also is that we are not going to censor and edit. So in this first pass through, you are not going to decide if you love the idea, you don't love the idea, you are think it'll work, you don't think it'll work. You're going to just generate any idea that could potentially, you could imagine maybe in some scenario working. Okay. And you are going to put it down. We're not deciding right now that we're going to take action on all these ideas. We're not going there yet. When I start this process, each time we've done it, and this is how we've run our business now for, 20 years, doing this exercise whenever we've needed to create funds for something. Right now, it's the $100,000 for the book launch and tour that we want to do. So we're just going to write down all the different ways. So I might write down something like sell my house. I don't want to sell my house. I love my house. It's my dream house. I moved in here 3 years ago. I have no desire to leave my house. But like, that could generate money. Okay. Right. Like, so I want you're just going to write down anything that you could have actual access to. Now, what we're not doing is making up stuff that doesn't apply to us. If I didn't own my home, that does not go on my list, right? Because there wouldn't be a sale, right? So you could, let's say, you used to have a real estate license. That's not the work you do anymore, but I still have an active license. I could sell a property and generate the amount I wrote down. Like, I could do it. I don't know if I want to. We're not deciding that right this minute. Okay. We're right now going to come up with anything that we, based on our resources, our skills, our abilities, could potentially do to generate that amount of money. Now, I want to offer another little mindset piece. If someone said to you, if you generate this amount of money in the time frame that you've allotted, I will give you an extra $1,000,000. How many of you know that you would find a way? You would find a way, because $1,000,000 is going to come to you if you generate that 10,000 or that 20,000 or whatever. I want to hear those of you that are here live with us. How many of you would find a way? Like, you just know you would get really, you would, yes, we would, most of us, if not all of us, would 1000%. So what's the difference between how we've been operating now around generating this amount of money and that scenario where someone's going to hand us $1 million. The difference is we have a huge incentive. So it's not that we don't know how. It's not that we couldn't figure it out. We might not know how consciously yet, but it's not that we couldn't figure it out. It's not that we couldn't do it. It's that we let all the other, oh my gosh, I guess I didn't know I didn't know Substack had that AI stuff going on. All right. The universe is saying, yes, balloons. Okay. It's not that we don't know those things. It's that we don't believe either that we can, we think it's going to be too hard, we don't want to risk rejection, we don't want to have to whatever. There's things we don't want to confront. And so we're going to kind of pretend, we're going to do a little bit of a brain hack, and we're going to pretend that we are incentivized in that way, that we are going to play that big. We're going to pretend that we're going to play that big, that someone's going to give us $1 million at the end, because that's the kind of mindset we get to be in. That's the state change, that you are resourceful, that you can do it. You know you would if that was on the line. And so now you are going, oh God, this I'll have to figure out how to turn that off. So now we're just going to play like that, because we wouldn't care so much about what other people think or if we were bothering people, or we would just know the $1 million is on the line and we're going to do anything we need to do to get it done. Right. Okay. So we need to kind of pretend, kind of create a little bit of a scenario and do a little bit of method acting in order to bring ourselves to that place. Okay. Now, um, we're going to start this 10-minute period. This is a little abundance accelerator sprint. And I want you to start just thinking about any way, if that person was going to hand you $1 million for generating this money, what are the ways you would come up with based on your skills, your resources, the things that you have available to you? What are the ways you would do? Okay, I'm going to let you just start ideating, and you're going to go. Our goal is to get to as close to 50 ideas by the end of this 10 minutes as we can. You may get to 10, you may get to 20. There's no judgment. It is not school. Okay. But this is how I've started to figure out, all right, what am I going to do? And then I'll share with you how I'm actually going to take this forward and be working on generating the 100,000 for the book launch. Okay. So first, we're just going to go with any organic ideas that come through. Okay. And then I'm going to give you some prompts and you can ignore them or use them as we go. Ready, set, go. And just breathe deeply and imagine just you're downloading ideas, anything you could possibly do. Just closing your eyes if you want to, just tuning in or letting your hand run over the page. Any ideas that are already downloading. Okay. Who has created at least one idea? Don't have to decide if you love it or not yet. Just one idea. Put a one in the chat if you're here with us. Have you created at least one idea, one possibility? And we're going to keep going. If you're in the zone, we're going to keep going. Okay, good. We've got some of you starting to create ideas. Okay, now I want you to think about this is a brain prompt that's going to just create maybe some new ideas. We'll see. You're going to say to yourself, what could someone like me do? So now you're not thinking really about yourself so much, but if you met you and you met this person who had the skills and the background and the resources, and what ideas would you suggest to them to help them? You love this person, you're excited for them. Okay. So I want, okay, great. Some of you have one idea, some of you have many ideas. I want you now to think about anything else that comes up. What could someone like you? It's almost like you have a great friend, you want them to win, you want them to achieve their goal. What ideas would you have based on their skill set? Okay, let's take a few minutes and see what comes up with that lens. What would your advice be for someone like you to help them achieve this financial goal? Okay, now take a breath, see if that generated one or more new ideas for you. Okay, if you're just on a roll with your own thoughts, just keep going. Otherwise, if you want another prompt, now try, what are things that people pay for that you're good at? Okay, so this doesn't even have to be the main thing you offer in the world. This doesn't have to be your main career. What are things you're good at that people in the world pay for? So if you're really, really good at organizing your closets in your house, people pay organizers. If you're really, really good at meal prep and you do it for your family every week, people pay for meal prep. If you're really, really good at doing bookkeeping and financial accounting, people pay for that. Okay, so I want you just to think about something. Maybe it isn't something that you offer now professionally, but you're really good at it, and there are people in the world who pay money for that service. Okay, so I want you to see if that sparks any ideas. Oh, I could offer such and such in my neighborhood or to the parents at my kids' school, or put this out on Facebook that I'm going to open 5 spots for X. Okay. Just see if it opens up any ideas. Okay, next prompt, keep going if you're on a roll. If you want another one, you're gonna think of, is there anything that you've been thinking about over the last couple months, year, 2 years? Just an idea that's been swirling around like, I could host such and such a retreat. I could put this kind of an offer together. I could add an expansion to my business here. Okay. Is there anything that you've had a download on it, you haven't put it into action yet? Anything like that that could be revenue generating in your time frame? I want you to write that down now. We're going to take one more minute. You can sit, keep going if you're on a roll. Otherwise, you're going to sit in silence and just say, okay, universe, show me. Show me anything else that belongs on this list that will generate this revenue in a beautiful, fun, aligned way. Deep breaths, just tune in and listen. Okay, take a deep breath in. Know that this is just the beginning. When I first started trying to play this game, I felt like it sucked. I was in my head. I didn't get a lot of ideas. I felt probably more anxious. So, if that has happened for you, it is okay. This is a strategy that improves with reps. It's like the first time you go to a workout session, if you've never run before and you start running, you feel like you're going to die. It feels horrible usually. Okay. Your body's like, what's happening? I don't know how to move this way. And, or, swimming or rock climbing or whatever it might be. Right. And we stick with it because what I can tell you is that every time I do this strategy, it gets better and better and better, better, better. So if you think it sucks and it doesn't work, it really will work. I've coached people on this now for over a decade. It will work for you, but sometimes we got to do some reps. Okay. That's why we're going to be, continuing to do this work in our community together. All right. So how many of you got some ideas? Okay. I know I saw some things coming in. So I want you to count up. This is not to compare. It doesn't matter. Hey, if you have one good idea, that could make you your money right there. Okay. If you have one really aligned idea, you don't need more than one. But we are going to play this month for 50 because when we force ourselves to get to 50 ways to make a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time for a certain purpose, we are getting out of first thought. And first thought is going to activate certain parts of our brain, But when we have to push ourselves like an athlete does, more than 4 ideas, 5 ideas, 10 ideas, 20, 30, sometimes, the first 5 are excruciating. Sometimes I get to 30 and then I'm like, "I'm out." Right? So I want to, yeah, Kristen, and it isn't easy at first. So, right, we just want to normalize that these things aren't easy, okay? And that's why I don't think doing this alone at the beginning is the best. That's why I was willing to, this feels, again, my body feels like it's on fire. I hate saying how this amount of money and this amount of time that I'm working on, but I just felt it was so important to be real and be specific and show, like, demo this in real time. Okay. So we're gonna be brave together. We're gonna be brave together. All right. So some of you got 5, some of you, Amy went from 34 to 46, 15. And yes, yes, we get to be real. No fake book, no nonsense. This is realness. Okay. So if you got one idea or 50 ideas, great. It's a start. Now, here's what we want to do. Not every idea that we put down, we're probably super excited about, right? I'm not going to sell my house right now. I could, I'm not going to. And probably it wouldn't close in that time period anyway, right? So it's not the right match, right? But we just want to show ourselves and our subconscious mind that we have choices and we have options, okay? So now what we want to do is I want you to eliminate, put a strike through if you've typed it or by hand, cross out anything that you know you're not doing. Like, I'm not selling my house this month. So I'm going to just, cross those out, right? So anything that you're not going to do, it doesn't feel aligned, you could, but it just feels really absolutely terrible energetically, you're going to cross it out. Okay? So just take a minute to X out anything that you just does not feel aligned. And then you can put a little wavy line under and you're like, I really would prefer not to. If someone's offering me the $1,000,000 to get it done, I'd do it, but it's not, I'm not as excited about it. Okay. So see if there's any like that. Yes, and we are recording this whole session and it will get emailed out to you all as long as you're a subscriber. It only can email because we're on Substack. So you have to be a subscriber to our Substack. Okay. All right. Now, I'll put the link in for that in a moment. Okay. Okay. So now what you're gonna do is I want you to pick your 5 that you're most excited about. Okay, which are the 5, if you have more than 5, that you are most excited about? And here's how, when I say excited, first your passion, okay? But then in addition to your passion, what I want you to tap into is what is the fastest path to generate the revenue in the time that you have allotted. So sometimes Amy and I have done this in our business for Sara Connell coaching, where we've said, okay, we've got some ideas on here, but they might be like a 1 or a 2 year thing. If there's like, I want to, sell my book and you haven't started writing. Right? Like, that's not going to happen in the time period unless you made a wider, like, for me, I'm talking about between now and the end of June, right? So this is not something I can do a long game on. These are things that need to be immediately actionable. So I want you to pick the top 5, or if you don't have very many left after you eliminated 3, their top 3 to 5 that you are most excited about and that can most directly generate revenue in the time frame that you chose. Okay? Let's all identify those now. Okay. And then put 3, 4, or 5, depending on how many you have that are ones you really could see yourself going for. You might not have all the steps figured out. You might feel nervous. You might feel scared if it'll work, but you're like, these, I have 3 to 5 that I could move forward with that I feel excited. I feel like they have potential to generate that kind of income in that amount of time. Okay. Okay, awesome. All right, so some of you have 5, some of you might have 3, whatever it is, okay? Now, I want you to put them in priority order. I want you at least to identify your number 1. I want you to have one thing that you're gonna take action on coming out of this training today, okay? At least I want you to have one thing, one real specific thing that you can take a next step on today before you go to bed tonight, right? Because we don't just wanna talk about this, we wanna think about you're gonna actually put it into action. Yeah, and Cheryl, the number we're playing for is just whatever amount you want for the thing that you're desiring in a certain period of time. Yeah. Okay, and then put a 1 in the chat when you've got that. You've identified one idea on your list that you can take some action on, just some, even if it's a micro action that moves it forward by the time that you go to bed tonight. Okay, so when you're complete with that, put it in the chat, those of you that are here with us live, so we know, because then I want to show you. I said there's going to be a demo, and I want to show you kind of exactly what I came up with as my one to move forward with first and what I'm going to do with it. Okay, so 2 of you have an idea. Tell me, everybody, when you get to your one, if it's a big project, you can take one action toward that. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so I did this exercise. As you know, I got clear last week that really, really, really what I would love to put behind the launch of this book and the experiences I want to create and the transformation I want to create in this book launch and the tour for people that interact with the download was going to be the $100,000. Okay, and so that felt really daunting because I just didn't have $100,000 just sitting around somewhere to put towards this. It wasn't something that's just like, oh, cool, here you go, right? It's something that gets to be created. And we know, right, that the the money already exists in the form of an opportunity or idea that we get to action. So we started working in that mindset. I did the 50 ways. I didn't get up to 50 yet. I got up to, I think I did about 17, and one idea really jumped out to me. So I continued to play to generate the 50 because that's my commitment, because we want to tap different parts of our right brain by getting out of first thought thinking. Okay, that's the brain science piece. But I did have one that I felt really called to, and that was to make sponsorship partnerships available for people who wanted to also be in front of this idea audience with me and be part of the download experience. That's just the one that came through this time in this exercise, right? So I said, okay, what's that one action? When I got clear, that was my number one idea that I wanted to take action on. Part of it was going to be, one action was doing some market research with people. Like, what are they looking for in terms of sponsorships, right? Because I know I've been a sponsor at things, and some of them are effective and some are not. And so I really started thinking about, I didn't just want to do like, oh, someone can have their table up at a download lounge. I wanted to create something that was really going to help people have a win win win. right? That's how we all play here in this community. Win, 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 right? So I wanted whoever participated in this to get a huge win. I wanted the people that experience the download tour to have a huge win as well. Okay. And so I just to show you, I had to make this real. Okay. Couldn't stay up in my head. I had to do something about it. And remember the game. If someone was going to give you $1 million to meet your goal, you would figure out a way. So I said, well, if that was on the table, what would I do? Well, I'd have to create something for people to look at. And I would need to create something that was so valuable, that was a huge win for them, that wasn't, you know, that I could show with people, right? So I just want to show, like, I made this. Oh, let me see if um okay, let's see if this is my first time doing this on Substack, so I think it's gonna work for us, but we'll go. So just put yes if you can see it. Like, there's this little PDF that I created. I'm just gonna show you guys just a second. We're not gonna look at this whole exact thing, but I just want to show you an example of how I take something and say, okay, I have this idea to offer these 6-month partnerships. I didn't just want it to be like a sponsorship at an expo, right? I wanted to show something that would be an integrated 6-month partnership that would be both in person and virtual and all the things. So I shared a little bit about the book. I talk about, a little bit about my background and places I've been featured and what the mission of the book is. And then I talk about the reach this is going to have. We already have 6 million people that will be experiencing, before we do any public relations, that are going to be experiencing invitations to the download virtual and in-person events. 30K on our email, and our social, 100K on YouTube. That we're going to be having 5 to 10 cities, right? And here's this idea of having these lounge experiences that are not just, again, talking, it's experiential, right? And I talk here about, like, again, how do I make this a win? How do I take it off my 50 ways to make it a win for others? Well, it's not just, again, I'm at a trade show with my product. I'm looking for people that are value aligned, mission aligned, that are here to promote human flourishing in this technological age, people that are about the marriage of consciousness and science. What are those companies that are aligned with what I'm doing? So people, yes, they'll have live presence at the wellness event. I've paid $10,000 just to do that at someone's event. But I was like, I want to do way, way more than that. So a feature on the Download Show podcast, ability to have the products in the download book app, where they're going to be practicing the techniques from the book. And it's like, oh, I would love that gamma beats, track in this app, or I would love that neurofeedback headset. I'm going to create user generated content because I'm only talking to people whose products or services I love and believe in. So they're going to have user generated content, which is the number one most high converting marketing now. It's where not an ad, it's just someone using it in real life. I'm on the plane using their neurofeedback headset, or I'm taking that particular supplement to keep me, energized on the tour. There's the national tour marketing materials. There's photos and video that are going to be happening at the events. Who is this for? Right? What kinds of brands? And then, because initially this was going to be, and it is, a $25,000 to $50,000 sponsorship, that's what it's priced at. I am doing just hand picking 10 aligned partners, and they get to do it for $10,000 instead of 25. So it's 6 months of a visibility partnership to millions and millions of people through a shared objective to bring science and consciousness together, to let people get downloads, to have them tap into original creative thinking in this age of AI, to create miracles through brain training. And this is what, that I came up with. Okay. So I just wanted to show that to you, so that it's not just this theoretical, I have an idea, how, like, what do I do with it? Then it's like, this is something I am going to take action on. So I made that visual so that when I meet with people, I can chat with them, and then they can give me feedback and say, I'm interested or I'm not. Right now, we have some people interested. I've just started having these conversations, and I make them collaborative. It's not selling. It's like, hey, here's a vision. Is this aligned with your vision? What would this look like? What would be a win for you if we partnered? This is what I'm looking for in terms of, creating. And I've learned some things in those first meetings. I learned that one of the things, the people who are already early considering this, they want to know that they're going to be creating a real networking group with the other people who are the partners. And I didn't even think so much about that. I thought it was about getting in front of the audience. They're really interested in collaborating and networking and cross promoting in the partnership. So like I'm learning every day as I have these, and I'll be having these conversations all this week and next week at Human and Tech Week where I'm speaking. Okay, so I know we're almost at time, but I just wanted to show that's one of 50 ways. One of 50 ways. And I don't know which way when I play this game, it's all gonna shake out. It might be 10 of my different ways come together to create that investment in the book launch. It might be that 1 or 2 of them are all the ways that it comes together. That's where I get to continue just being in the flow, okay? So those of you, I wanna hear who got something from today. I wanna hear a takeaway, those of you that are here live with us. What is a takeaway you have? I wanna hear either the action you're gonna take to implement something that you generated on your list. I want to hear if you just felt like the mindset shift was helpful, remembering the money you desire is already here in the form of an idea that you get to action. What you are seeking is seeking you. So just feel into what you need to hear. And those of you who please, please do join us. Yeah, some of you are going to create partnerships. I love that. You might just get the idea. That's why playing together is so cool because our ideas will start bouncing off each other. Okay. So those of you that, if you haven't already, I hope this is the right thing. Yes. If you haven't already joined us here on Substack for we have our download toolkit where you're going to get the full training of the 50 ways. We just did this little impromptu demo. You're going to get the full training of 50 ways. You're going to get these lives with me where I'm going to do live trainings and demos around all, whether you're downloading financial abundance, whether you're downloading your ideas, whether you're downloading a miracle in your life. Okay, so I really, really do hope you'll join us over here in our new home on Substack. It's $47 for the entire year. For the entire year. Okay, you get all the Substack live trainings that I do. You get the download toolkit with a download diary. You get to beta test the app. You get to have access to all like some really cool brain activators early from the book. You get to see the book launch in early alongside in real time. You get all the things. So I really hope that you can join us. The link is there, and then we're going to put that in the follow up email, and that's the way we can get the recordings to you of these because they only can go to our subscribers. Okay, so please do join us. Grab the link there, and you'll get the replay of this. You'll get all the other resources, the abundance. It's not even on the page that says you're getting the abundance accelerator pieces, but I want you to have more on this so that this isn't theory, but that it happens. And then I'm going to be doing another training. We'll do it later in the month, and I'll give you an update on what's happening with my 100K goal. And I want you to bring back the goal you set for today, and I want to take it to the next level. Okay. So please, please join us as a download insider. And Rose, you were asking, can you please put the link in the chat? Yeah, there it is again. Okay. And you can also just go. All right. So you all are amazing. Amazing. So I just want to see me. If you are committed, those of you that are here, and even those of you watching the replay, just message me if you are going to take one action before you go to bed tonight on this. Don't want this to stay in theory. We need to move it into the three-dimensional world. And as soon as you take one action, you're going to get downloads for the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. Okay. All right, amazing. I'm so excited to continue with you all. Please join us here on Substack. You get the entire year for $47 to get all of these kind of trainings and these initial download toolkit resources. And then, Amy, if you can help me make sure that that link to get the $47 subscription is in our replay email. All right, you guys are amazing. I will see you next time. All right, be working on this between now and in a couple weeks when we do part 2. All right, we're going to do this. It's done. And that's the last thing I'll leave you with. We're going to take a breath. Envision it's one day after the date you set to achieve your goal, and you did it. I want you to feel what that feels like. You did it. You reached or exceeded your goal. How does it feel? That's your anchor image. That's locking it in. That's future pacing it. Whatever you decide is what will happen. Whatever you decide. So I'm deciding to manifest this investment in the book tour, in the book launch. Whatever you decide will happen. And so we're deciding right now that we're going to do this. All right. So I'll see you for part two. Thanks, everybody.